Hi everyone, I'm Tanaz from foreverconscious.com and this is your weekly energy forecast for the week of August 9th. So this week we kind of get a little bit of shifting energy. On August 12th, we have Mars coming into a square or 90-degree alignment with the planet Pluto. Now this typically happens once a year, but this is going to happen in 2020 3 times. We'll have one alignment this week, the next one will come in October, and the final one in December. So this is unusual to have this alignment happen 3 times, and it's definitely a sign from the universe that this energy is important. It's going to be a theme. We're going to have to work with it, and it's something that we need to pay attention to. So the Mars square Pluto alignment is definitely going to activate some tension, some need for us to step into our power. It works both on a global level and on a personal level. On a global level, we can see tense situations escalate, we can see power struggles. On a personal level, we can see those things as well, or feel those things too. But it's a time for us to really step into our power and to source from self. How can I source from myself? How can I tune in to my inner wisdom, my inner knowing, and source from self? So maybe sit with that for a minute and think about those words about, learning how to source from self. And this is not to say we don't need other people and we don't need support. Of course we do. But the energy under this alignment is really guiding us to find our independence, align with our highest truth, and work from that place of power. So the first alignment, the Mars-Pluto alignment that we have this week, is a little more subtle. The one we have in October, which will occur with Mars in retrograde, will definitely be sort of the peak of this energy. So we can kind of think of it, the 3 alignments, as the beginning, middle, and end of the story. In the beginning, we're just kind of getting set up, we're getting to learn who the characters are. Then in the middle point of the story, that's when the craziness happens. And then the end of the story, everything's resolved and it's all finished and done. So that's kind of the arc that we will see. A lot of the energy, the peak of the energy will happen with the next Mars-Pluto alignment that happens in October. And along with this Mars-Pluto square, you're also going to hear me talk about in a couple of weeks the Mars-Saturn square. So Saturn and Pluto were very key players at the start of the year. A lot of the energy that we've been working with all through 2020 can be linked back to the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that we had at the start of the year. If you've been following me since then, you would know in January I talked a lot about the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, and now Mars is going to be activating that strand of energy that we have been working with. So it's almost like we're entering into the second chapter, the next stage of this amazingly transformative, potent alignment that happened way back in January. It's now going to be activated by Mars, and we're going to see a lot of that stuff that needs to come up, a lot of the darkness, a lot of the tension, a lot of the muck. It needs to come up in order to be cleansed, and Mars is going to make sure we don't miss anything. It's going to be very ferocious, and Mars is like the warrior. It wants to get all of that up and out so we can cleanse, so we can transform. So there is this big energy sort of building. I know we maybe feel 2020 has already brought enough big energies. This is not necessarily bringing anything new. It's simply these, Mars-Pluto squares and Mars-Saturn squares that we're working with for the next coming months are really just helping to ride that transformative energy home and to get us to that next awesome stage of our evolution and of our journey. So yes, there's uncomfortableness or some, uncomfortable energy that can come up, but know that it's riding us into this wonderful energy that's waiting for us as well. So that's a big shift that we experience this week. Like I said, it'll be subtle. It will build as we get into the rest of the year. Also this week on August 15th, we have Uranus going retrograde. So we'll have another retrograde adding to the mix. Uranus goes retrograde every year, so this is just part of its normal cycle. Uranus in retrograde, it helps us to go over things that are weak and unstable in our lives. So over the last 7 months, you can think back and go, okay, what's something that has been weak or unstable or unsettled in my life? When Uranus goes retrograde, we tend to get some support with that. Either we are able to let it go, we're able to shift our perspective, or we're able to strengthen it. So Uranus retrograde can actually really be a support. It can help us clear things from our lives that, have been a little weak or shaky, or it can help us, reinforce them if needed. Also, Uranus is the planet of awakening. It's also the planet that rules over astrology. And when it's retrograde, we really get a boost to our spiritual energy, to our ability to communicate with the stars, the cosmos, the tarot, whatever medium you want to use. It can strengthen our ability to tap into the wisdom that is on offer to us from around us and from inside of us. So there's a great opportunity here to awaken, to shift your perspective, to choose to see things differently. Uranus can really, really help with that. So we have that wonderful energy that will come through with the Uranus retrograde. Uranus will be retrograde all the way until January of next year. So that's, it's going to be its energy as we close out 2020 as well. Oh, also, actually, on this Uranus retrograde, it's also a good time to think about your material, where you've been using food or material comforts. Let me say that again. It's also a good time to think about where you have been using material items or food in order to create a sense of comfort. And it's if you notice that you have been doing that, this is a good time to maybe check in and say, is this healthy? How can I, create a sense of comfort and security in ways that are more sustainable, that come from within rather than something around me. So maybe think about that as well. So overall, it's a smooth week. We do have, the Uranus retrograde, but it's actually a very subtle energy. And this Mars-Pluto square, yes, we may feel a little tension, we may feel a little on edge, but again, it is a little more subtle, than what's to come. So I hope that's helpful. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Keep looking after yourself. Whenever we have a Mars energy, it's always great to make sure that you're staying active with your exercise, you're giving yourself healthy outlets to release and, get out any tension or anger that might be bubbling. So whatever that looks like for you, maybe, exercise, journaling, all good techniques. So make sure you're using those and have a wonderful week. I'll be back next week. Thank you so much.